You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftakademy.com. www.netsoftakademy.com.
Hey, welcome back. In this video, we are going to explore some of the core services that makes Microsoft Azure such a powerful and flexible cloud platform. Whether you want to run applications, store your company's data, or manage networks, Azure has you covered. So let's break it down one by one. Now, Azure offers hundreds of services. Yes, a lot of services. But they all fall under some key categories like compute, storage, networking, database, and identity, and so much more actually. So these are the building blocks of cloud computing, which you plug into each other and create your own architecture. So let's understand each one by one. We'll start with the first category, that is compute service, which is quite important. Remember, there are many services. I will just talk about the core services, which are really important in any architecture. So, compute. This is all about running applications, virtual machine, and other processes in the cloud. The most common service in this category, that is compute category, is Azure Virtual Machine, which are like your computers you rent from Microsoft data centers. Now, remember, just like your laptop, these computers behave in the same way. Run the same operating system, that is Windows 11, Windows 10, or any other operating system you want. But these machines are virtually ran on a server in Microsoft data center. Next, app service or application services. This is great for developers who want to deploy a web application without managing the actual backend server. You also have AKS, that stands for Azure Kubernetes Services. This is for containerization or container-based workloads. Then we have storage services. Here, Azure gives you several ways to store data depending on your needs. The first category is inside the storage service, that is Blob storage. Blob stands for binary large object. Now, this is used for storing large unstructured data like images, videos, backups, and anything else. Basically, every digital file is kind of a blob, binary large object. And if you want to store it on Azure, well, Azure do provide that service. The next one in the same storage category is disk storage. This is typically used to store virtual machine disks. Next is your file share. This service lets you share file across machines, just like any other shared file over the network. So if you want a network file share infrastructure, well, Azure got you covered. Then Azure Storage Solution also have services for queue storage and table storage, and so much more. The next category is networking. Here, networking connects everything together. And in Azure, you will go to Azure Virtual Network, or in short, VNets, to create your own network. This lets you create a mesh or a network in which multiple resources can communicate with each other, like your own private network on cloud. Well, here you can also use load balancer to spread traffic across multiple machines, and VPN gateways, which allow you to connect your on-premises network with Azure network securely. It is called site-to-site VPN. It is also possible to connect your employee's laptop directly to your Azure network using point-to-site VPN architecture. And then there are so many more network services. The next main category is database. Well, Azure supports a range of database services, such as Azure SQL Database, which is fully managed relational database based on SQL Server. And then we also have Cosmos DB, or database. Well, this is a NoSQL database for higher scalability and global distributed application. So if the developer wants to go with SQL or NoSQL, well, Azure got that developer in cover. It will provide the service which is reliable and highly available. Well, one more point. You can also use open source options like MySQL and other database services, all fully managed by Azure. Now, let's take a quick look at how to find all these services we talked about in Azure portal. So I will take you on a tour. We will see all these services and in which category you will locate them. All right, so now let's look at some core services offered by Azure. That is your compute, networking, storage, and let's say database. And even, why not, Entra ID? Okay, so if you go to your Azure portal, then go to All Services, then let's click on Compute. This is where you will find all your compute services. Let's say you want to create a virtual machine. Well, you will just click on Virtual Machine, and then click on Create Virtual Machine, and then just fill out this template. The template is pretty easy. It will ask you for your subscription because you need to pay for what you use. So all the resources must tie with a subscription. Then you will select your resource group. Every project will start with a resource group, and all the resources will stay inside that resource group. Basically, all the resources which are related to each other must stay in one resource group. So I can just create a demo resource group, let's say, for this example. Then you will give your virtual machine a name, so demo VM, let's say. You will select a region. Where do you want to deploy this? So I want to deploy this machine in the data center somewhere in Canada Central. Do you want high availability? Well, these are different ways you can achieve high availability and performance. We are not talking about all of these high availability options one by one here. It's just a brief overview. But in this case, let's focus on just a simple computer. So I will say no infra redundancy required. Security type, I will keep it standard. But if you want to have high security, you can create a virtual TPM, that is trusted module, or trusted platform module. Again, this is critical. This is where you select the operating system you want to install on the machine you are creating. If you don't find the operating system here, just click on See All Images. It will take you to the marketplace where you can find any operating system you want. So there are a lot of operating systems. As you can see, this is just first page of 545 pages. And these are the categories. So if you want compute operating system, just click on it. It will show you all the operating systems specially made for compute, that is computer. Then you have developer tools, ISOs. Then you have DevOps. Then how about web ISOs? Then we have security as well. Then what about networking? Let's say you just want to install a virtual VPN gateway or something like that. Well, you will find it in networking then, right? But in our case, let's just go with Windows 10, why not? Again, it is old, discontinued, but for this example, it will work. Then if you want a spot discount will give you cheaper rates for your machine. so that you have to pay less. But the catch is that Azure can take that resource at any given time. Now, this is also very important to select the right size. Think about your configuration. When you buy a laptop, you decide how much RAM you need, you decide what processor you need. And once you buy it, you stick with it. It's not that easy to change your RAM. I know you can change it to the max capable RAM limit of your laptop, that is maybe 32 GB, 64, or maybe 128 if you have a workstation. But over here, you can go beyond that. So this is your configuration. For this demo, 2 CPUs, 8 gigabits of memory is more than enough, which will cost $81 per month to me. But if you want more performance, then click on all sizes and then just type whatever you need. Do you need 8 cores? Or do you need, let's say, 40 cores? Why not? Somewhere about 35 to 40 cores I need. Yeah, I don't have a quota for it, my subscription, but yes, there are sizes which can give you 40 cores if you want it, and 672 GB RAM. The cost is $5,781 per month. I'm actually happy with D2S V3. It's good enough. Now here you enter the local admin username and password. All right. Then you open the port you want to connect to it. Then this is where you add your storage. I'm using premium SSDs. This is where Azure will create a network for you. I do need a public IP, so I can actually create a new public IP. I can say, make me a public IP so that I can connect with this machine. I can also put it into load balancer. And maybe you want to put this machine into a pool of application gateway. Management, here you can decide if you want to join this machine to your Enter ID, just like domain join. You want to enable auto shutdown, which helps you to create a schedule, and with that schedule, your machine will be turned off automatically. Do you want to enable backup, site recovery? Do you want to update your computer manually, or do you want Microsoft to update your machine which you're creating automatically, and so much more? Do you want to monitor the boot diagnostic or create alerts on the machine? This means if something goes wrong with the machine, you will at least get an alert. You can also push an extension. Imagine that you just bought a new computer, a gaming laptop with NVIDIA graphic card on it. Do you know that you also have to install the correct driver for that graphic card? Similarly, here you can add extra software to your computer. Maybe it might be AMD GPU drivers or NVIDIA GPU drivers. You may enter or install Zoom, Teams, or whatever you want to install. You can put it there. Then you can also push application in it, or you want to run a custom script, that is also possible. And once you're happy, you just review it. And create your machine. That's it. So at this point, I'm just showing you where to find these services. If you want to learn how to create every service, how to connect it in depth, then I will suggest you to head to NetSoft IT Academy. Over there, we have a lot of in-depth courses where you can learn every service with the help of lab and scenarios. Now that was compute. What about your storage? Well, we have storage services as well. If you go to storage, here you will find your storage services. The most common one is your storage account. If you want to store anything on Azure, you will create a storage account at least. So here you just click on create. You select your subscription, demo is already created. You give your storage account a name, demo NIT, it must be lowercase, and storage account must be unique globally. Then you select your region. What do you prefer? Do you want to store Blob? Do you want to store files? Whatever your preference is, select that. Then what kind of performance you need? Do you want good performance and want all these services and features? Then select standard. But if you want highest level of performance for a particular type of storage, then you can select premium and decide, do you want block blobs, file share, or page blobs? Then redundancy. Do you want your data to be redundant locally between two geographical locations, between multiple data center, that is zones, or do you want a mix of both, zones and geo? You decide it. This is the cheapest option, which still keeps 3 copies of your data in the same data center. Then you just go next, no need to change anything in advance. Networking, here you decide, do you want to give public access to your storage, or do you want to keep it private? Or maybe you only want to connect your storage infrastructure with your own network. You can also do that with the help of creating a private endpoint as well. Data protection. I always disable it for demo purposes, but in production, you keep it on. You keep it enabled. Why? Because it protects your data from accidental deletion. Just like your iPhone, when you delete a picture, it stays there for 30 days, right? You can always get your pictures back. And after 30 days, that picture will be permanently deleted. Same logic here. If you delete something, it stays for 7 days in a soft delete status. Once 7 days are gone, then the data will be deleted. So you better recover it if you want. Encryption. That's also a good point for Azure. In Azure, all your data at rest will be encrypted for sure. Now, the only chance to maintain is that you can decide if you want to keep the encryption key. Or you can also let Microsoft manage your encryption key. So in this case, Microsoft can manage it. Click Next, and then Review and Create, and your storage will be created. Let's move to networking. If you go to networking here, these are all the features tailored toward network infrastructure. The most common one is, of course, creating a virtual network first. So this is where you create a network. It's pretty fast. Like creating infrastructure in Azure is super fast. So click on Create, decide your subscription, select your resource group, give your network a name, let's say Demo VNet in Canada. Security, you can encrypt the environment. You can also create a subnet for Bastion if you want. Then you can configure firewall, or you can enable DDoS protection on your network. This is all for security. This is important. This is where you decide what IP address range you want. Let's say you want class A, then select class A, which is already selected for you. Azure do it for you automatically. But let's say you want to change it to class C, so you can always do that. 192.168.0.0. You can do that and create more subnets if you want, or delete the address space and create maybe IPv6 address space. It all depends on the scenario. And once you're happy, just review and create. Your network will be created. How about database? Well, we have that service as well. If you go to databases, where you can create SQL database. Yes, Microsoft Azure do also offer some other database services. So whatever your scenario is, you want SQL, NoSQL, structured, relational database, Azure have a service for that. So you just click on database, you create a database. Again, the same logic. For project details, select your subscription, select your resource group, then give your database a name, let's say demo database. Select a server. I don't have a server because the database will be installed on a server. So let's create one. Let's demo. That's our VR. Let's do it in Canvas Central. That needs to be unique. So NIT. And select. How do you want to authenticate? Remember, you can authenticate via your Entra ID credentials, or you can also use your SQL authentication, where you will create your authentication directory. Means you will create your credentials inside the SQL engine. Or if you want to use both, you can. And here you set your administrator, like who can administer your SQL. So if I select my Entra ID, I can find myself because I am on Entra, and select myself as the admin of this SQL server. And click OK and done. So these were some of the services and how you can create it. Well, I'm not showing you how to connect all the dots and start creating your architecture because that needs some experience. You need to study a little bit more about the services and how they integrate with each other. For that, head to NITA, NetSoft IT Academy. And that's your overview of Azure's core services. These building blocks power everything in the cloud, from websites and application to database and networks. In the next video, we will dive into Azure pricing and how to manage your cost effectively. So if this video helped you, don't forget to like this video then and subscribe to our channel. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.